I can't believe it, but my US Bank Altitude Reserve just failed me in a big way. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Waller's Walt, and if you've watched this channel at all, you know I am a big fan, maybe the biggest fan of the US Bank Altitude Reserve. But in my most recent award booking, US Bank really let me down. But first, if you're new to this channel is all about credit cards, credit card rewards, and showing you how you can use your points and miles to travel for less. So if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing and turn the bell notification on as well. Also, consider giving the video a thumbs up. It really does help the channel out. Now, a while back, I did a couple videos comparing the travel portals and how they compared to each other and directly with the airline. And in those videos, the US Bank Altitude Reserve actually did pretty well. But you know what? Let's get into my issue with my Altitude Reserve and the outcome of all of this crap. Now, I'm headed to Dublin for a long weekend with a couple buddies of mine, and when I was looking at flight option on Google Flights, I had seen a non-stop option for $495 flying basic economy on Aer Lingus, or what should have been just 33,000 altitude reserve points. Now, I'm not traveling with family, so I am perfectly fine flying basic economy. I only plan to bring my nomadic travel bag as a carry-on, and I don't really care where I sit. Plus, I'm pretty sure my buddies can live without seeing this pretty mug for 6 hours. And the price of the ticket was actually pretty good. Now, I did look at award options afterwards, but none of them were really good at all. There was the option for 60,000 United miles plus taxes and fees, or spending just 26,000 Avios round trip, but the taxes and fees were $260. And both of those options really weren't good based on the price of the ticket. So after looking at my award options, I decided to click book through Google Flights, and I was taken to Aer Lingus' website, where the ticket price was actually $435, which should have only been 29,000 altitude reserve points, which would have been awesome. But the issue is, Aer Lingus is not part of US Bank's real-time mobile reward airline options. So this just means I would need to book it through US Bank's travel portal, which is no big deal, right? Because they should just match the price. But then I headed on over to US Bank's website and I did my search. And when I did my search, the price came back at $595, which was $160 more than booking with Aer Lingus directly. So think about that. US Bank was charging $160 more for the same basic economy fare, but you know what? That wasn't the only issue. So I actually went back over to Aer Lingus' website just to check and verify that US Bank wasn't selling the economy ticket, not a basic economy ticket. But the economy fare that gave a seat selection and a checked bag was $555. So US Bank was still $40 more expensive than Aer Lingus' economy option while offering me a basic economy seat. And this is really where my problem started, because we're not talking a few bucks. I mean, I could live with that. We're talking a 37% price increase from the airline to the travel portal, and that is substantial. This means redeeming my points through the US Bank travel portal would reduce my value about 1/3, and I'd really be redeeming my points about 1 cent per point when you compare it to the actual cost on Aer Lingus, and to me that's just not okay. So I decided to call up US Bank and see if they could book the lower fare over the phone, or maybe just match the price or do something, because this was quite a price difference. And after being bounced around to a few different people, I finally reached a representative that said these prices are agreed upon with the airline and that there was nothing that could be done. So they sent me to another customer service representative to see if maybe there was something they could do. And after a few minutes, I spoke to a really nice woman who said there was nothing that she could do to offset the pricing issue. I explained that US Bank charging more actually reduces the value of my points, and I'm not actually receiving 1.5 cents per point. But I knew there was nothing she could do, but I wished her a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas and went on my way. And I just happened to tweet out that my altitude reserve failed me, and US Bank actually answered my tweet. I didn't even tag US Bank in this tweet. I had no interest in doing that, but they actually responded and I messaged them as they requested. And after messaging them, they said they'd escalate this up the chain and they'd have someone call me within 1 business day. And just as the rep on US Bank social media team said, I did receive a phone call in 1 business day. Unfortunately, that person wasn't able to help me, and they were only calling to get more details to send it to the correct department. And this just seemed like a wasted phone call to me, since I had already explained the issue. But you know what? I was told I'd hear back in a couple of business days, and you know what? I did. Unfortunately, that phone call was pretty pointless as well. The representative was extremely nice and went through the issue notes from the other representatives. And after a few minutes, the rep told me that under the terms of the program, the prices may not match the airline exactly, and mentioned other OTAs such as Expedia and Priceline. And you know what? She had a fair point. We've seen that these OTAs can be different in pricing, and we've seen this in the other videos that I've done. And from a pricing standpoint, there was nothing that could be done for me. But I could speak to the loyalty department to see if maybe there's something they could do, but I've already spoken to them in a previous phone call and that went absolutely nowhere. I explained once again that the issue here is how much of a difference in price there was, and I was not truly receiving 1.5 cents per point in value here, not even remotely close to it. And you know what? The rep agreed with me, but there was nothing she could do about it. But what the rep said she could do was put 4,000 points on my account for the inconvenience. I mentioned to her what I wanted was someone to take 29,000 points from my account and credit it to my account at 1.5 cents per point. I don't think I was being unreasonable. I didn't want extra points, or I didn't want US Bank to give me free points for my trouble. I simply wanted the right thing done, since 29,000 points is what the price should have cost. But at the end of that phone call, I was told that was not going to be an option. The fact that US Bank offers real-time mobile rewards, but does not allow it to work on all airlines is clearly a problem, especially when the prices on their travel portal are different than when booking directly with the airline. And if you are booking a flight with an airline that does not work for the real-time mobile rewards, since that is so limited, then you're stuck using their travel portal in order to get your 1.5 cents per point in value. If not, you're only redeeming at a 1 cent per point value, which really isn't good, nor is it a reason to use this card. And the problem is, I don't feel many people would have called about this or even would have known about this issue. I think they would have just booked directly with the airline, not knowing they couldn't use the real-time mobile rewards at 1.5 cents per point, or they would have used the portal thinking they were getting a great deal at 1.5 cents per point. But if your prices are inflated, US Bank, then you really aren't giving your customers 1.5 cents per point in value, and it reduces the value of your points. You know what, I'll have to dig deeper into these to see if maybe something has changed since my last videos, which those were many months ago. But in doing some quick searches, there does look to be some price inflation on US Bank's travel website. Not for all flights, but in a fair amount of them that I did search. And if you're going to market a benefit of receiving 1.5 cents per point for travel, then I actually expect to receive a 1.5 cent per point for travel. Not 1.5 cents per point on an airline ticket that's inflated in cost. This effectively reduces the value of the points if this is happening. This is like going to a store where they give you a 50% off coupon, but they raise the prices of their merchandise in order to give you that discount. You're really not saving any money, nor is it actually a good deal. And what I find so disappointing about all of this is the fact that US Bank just said that there's nothing that they can do about this pricing. And you know what? Maybe it's true. Maybe they can't do anything about it. But you know what? The credit card market, US Bank, is extremely competitive. And your ecosystem is not on the same level as Chase or American Express. And cards like the Chase Sapphire Reserve actually have better travel protections than your $400 card. The Altitude Reserve is basically a standalone card, which I'm perfectly fine with. And you know what? I think the card is a really good card. But just saying that there's nothing that we can do to help you and have a great day, I really don't think there's an appropriate response. Like I've said, I really like this card. It's been at the front of my wallet for almost a year now. But my annual fee is due in about 6 weeks. And while I felt this card was a sure lock to be renewed, I'm not so sure now. So US Bank, while the Altitude Reserve has a lot of positives, there are other cards on the market that offer better benefits that can easily replace your card in my wallet. So tell me, am I being a diva here, or would you be just as frustrated as I am? Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in this video. If you want to help support the channel, a simple way would be using links on the website or in the description below. And until next time, safe travels and take care.